SR93 Boxing back with a quick video. Yesterday, Shawn Porter was there was a video that I watched yesterday, which the guy asked Shawn Porter, but what does he think about Danny Garcia? And he mentioned how he was confused. Like Shawn Porter mentioned how he was confused about how Danny Garcia can get two fights back to back planned for him. You know, Sammy Vargas and Keith Thurman, and then Shawn Porter somehow is unable to get a fight. And you know, he seems confused. He's saying that, but you know, let me tell you why he can't get a fight. And it's not really his fault. He's the person who's trying to, you know, he's willing to fight anybody, but at the same time it is his fault. Because listen, this, for anyone who's wondering how come Kell Brook doesn't fight the best, how come Amir Khan doesn't fight the best, how come Keith Thurman doesn't fight the best, like, you know, their resume is good apart from Kell Brook's, but this is the reason why fighters cherry pick. Because if you keep taking chances and you have a few losses here and there, fans don't want to see you no more. Fans don't want to see you as much, at least to say. This is exactly why Shawn Porter can't get a fight. A loss in boxing judges you so harshly. If Shawn Porter won the Keith Thurman fight, he would have fights lined up for him. He would have probably a few big paydays as well lined up for him. And this is what happens. This is exactly what happens. When you take a loss in boxing right now, even if it's a close loss, this is exactly what happens. You see, sometimes we do blame the fighters, and sometimes there is, you know, Kell Brook is cherry picking way over the top than any fighter, I mean, currently I can think of. So, you know, that's the exception, but overall fighters do cherry pick. Danny Garcia's fighting Samuel, whatever his name is, something Vargas, because he hasn't fought in a long time, and he knows that sometimes it's good to take a shitty fight here and there, or at least it's perceived to be a shitty fight, because it's rest to your body, and a loss against you will be held accountable, like as if you committed a crime. You'll be judged really badly after that. It will really affect your reputation. See what how Keith Thurman versus Luis Collazo took place. I mean, that's kind of Keith Thurman's fault in a way. He kind of Luis Collazo was over the hill when Khan was fighting him. All of a sudden he fights him, he gets a problem. But you know, look at Shawn Porter, man. Yeah, I feel kind of bad for him, but at the same time, like, what did you think? This is exactly why I don't really bash a lot of fighters on cherry picking. I didn't bash Danny Garcia for cherry picking. I didn't really bash Keith Thurman too much for cherry picking. I just bashed the fans for people who says Keith Thurman is not cherry picking, but Danny Garcia is. Like, Keith Thurman, I mean, you know, so this is what I think, man. This is the reason why Keith Thurman is not fighting Errol Spence. This is the reason why Shawn Porter is not fighting Errol Spence. It's because of the fans. The fans will if you take a loss against any decent fighter, or even a shit anyone, you take a loss against anyone, that's like, people will hold that against you. And this is why fighters don't like taking risks. I'm fairly sure they like taking risks. And, you know, fighters won't get the paydays that they want if they take big losses like that. This is the age we come to, and fans are the main problem for this. Fans judge a loss so badly. You know, Travis Gotti made a video. It was one of them questions and answers. Like, you know, the fans ask questions in his comments, and then he answers it with a long video. And this one guy was asking, what would you think of how should I go about approaching my career or something? He wants to be a boxer. He's going to turn pro apparently. And Travis Gotti made it, you know, he said basically, like, cherry pick. Basically, like, he says, if pick a fight, good fights here and there, but cherry pick, really cherry pick, because a loss in boxing can be detrimental for your career. Or something like, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but that's the meaning basically behind what he said. And you know, this is true. A loss is, you know, look at MMA. Most of the time, a loss is not held accountable. It's only when boxing fans came in, the Ronda Rousey, her loss was held accountable. And plus, I think she brought a lot of it to herself, talking all that shit. But you know, yeah, a loss is whole, like, it's so bad. Like, this is, imagine you're in a position, yeah, you're willing to fight. Look at Amir Khan, for example. Look at, like, him as an example, right? Because he's one of them fighters who was willing to fight anybody and everybody open. I'm fairly sure he's willing to fight anybody and everybody, but he's picking and choosing. He's not afraid of none of these welterweights. But he's picking and choosing because the fans didn't really give him what he felt like he deserved. And this is to pretty much a lot of fighters. The fans don't really give the type of credit. Even if you lose, all of that shit that you done before the loss is gone. It's gone completely. You know, what Amir Khan done was fighting everyone. He was going to Peterson's hometown, and he was fighting Peterson in his hometown. He didn't have the Khan was the A side. You know, he was a way bigger name, and he went in there, got robbed. He was willing to fight him again in America, and guess what? He got caught with the drug shit, and then people forgot everything as soon as Garcia knocked him out. People just forgot completely, and it's crazy because so all imagine you're in that position. Just imagine you're in this position. You have been taking all your this shit, yeah. You've been taking all these chances. You're calling out Bradley. You're willing to fight Bradley. You fought Maidana. You fought Judah when Judah was a champion. You're going out there taking chances with Peterson. Dimitri Salita was a decent fighter, and especially when Khan was actually stepping up, he was a decent fighter at the time. He was fighting guys that were decent at the time. Kotelnik was a world champion. He was fighting who else was he fighting? Yeah, I mean, he went to fight Luis Calazo and Devin Alexander, things like that. But he fought a lot of good fighters, man. Julio Diaz came off a draw, which I feel like he won against Shawn Porter. He landed more power shots. So you look at all that, and yet people don't really give him the credit just because he lost to Garcia. You know, and they hold the Canelo loss as well, as if like no other welterweight would lose against Canelo. And you know that this is the reason why he fucking is like picking and choosing. It's not his fault. It's your fault. It's the fans' fault. Stop discrediting fighters just because they took a fucking loss. It's not a big deal. A loss is not a big deal in boxing. I mean, it's a big deal because you made it a big deal. Fighters can lose. When you step up competition, fighters lose. This is the reason why Kell Brook is, you know, protected and still hyped up. This is the reason why Kell Brook even sells a ticket. Because he hypes up his undefeated record. He hasn't fought anybody. Just imagine if Shawn Porter never, or even Amir Khan, Shawn Porter, whoever, imagine if they never fought anyone of noteworthy. Imagine they never fought Prescott, who at the age of 2021, because Prescott was a puncher, right? Imagine he never fought Garcia, never fought a whole bunch. Imagine he never fought Maidana and everything. He just flashed his speed and got guys out of there, you know, bums out of there, basically. Did what pretty much Kell Brook did, you know, fight a good fighter once in their lifetime. Once in like 5-10 years. 10 years actually. 5 years is actually pretty good for Kell Brook. And you'd be hyped. You would not have those glass chin remarks. You would not have those things like, as soon as you lose, the hype is gone. People see you as this invincible person. And as soon as you don't live up to the expectation, the hype is gone. People are looking for this invincible person. And people don't realize that no one's invincible. See, like when someone's taking a loss, you have to understand these are human beings that are taking chances to fight the best that they can fight. They're doing the best that they can at the time. And you know, the result is what it is. Rematches have taken places. Rematches have gone to the point where the second fight doesn't go how the first fight went. You know, the person who lost in the first fight might go, the second fight might, the second fight, the person who lost in the first fight might win in the second fight. Shit happens, you know. So, you know, you have to take all of that into consideration and really give fighters their props, because now people like Shawn Porter can't get a fight. If you really support real fights, how come you discrediting Shawn Porter? How come Shawn Porter's not getting a fight? How come he's not getting a fight? How come this guy is fighting Keith Thurman? He fought everyone, right? He's willing to fight any and everybody. Look at his resume. It's this win or lose, it's a good resume. So how come he doesn't get the fights that he should get as an elite, quote unquote, elite welterweight? It's because the fans deep down, they respect him. You know, it's like, it reminds me of girls when they put guys into friend zone. Yeah, the guy is nice. The guy's doing this shit, that shit for you. But you have, you know, that's some friend zone. They're just gonna put you on a friend zone because because you're just too nice, because you did the right things. As soon as you do the wrong things, she thinks you're an asshole. She might actually accept you. Same thing with fans. Fans are like girls. So that's all I have to say, man. Do respect the fighters a lot more. I'll be back with more videos soon. Until then, I'm out.